Happy days to y'all, and this is the Grumpy Papa JoeJoe for Papa JoeJoe, anytime, anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. And today we are going to talk about movie night. Oh, yeah. Well, the movie I want to talk about is the most, man, one of the, I guess, most attractive movies that has been seen by so many people all over the world is the Michael Jackson movie. Michael. Jafar Jackson, Michael's nephew, did a pretty damn good job. I finally watched the movie. Uh, I grew up back then in the 60s watching the Michael Jackson, Jackson 5 growing up. Yeah, Jackson 5s. I remember that. ABC. Come on now. One, two, three. Oh, yeah. I remember watching the animation, or as we called it back then, cartoons. Um, I remember watching the Michael Jackson show. I remember watching him and his brothers come out on the Ed Sullivan Show. If anybody remembers the Ed Sullivan Show, I remember him coming out on Ed Sullivan Show when they sang that song. Uh, they also sang so many other songs. Michael Jackson was just he was just a awesome writer, singer, performer. I mean, the man could just play instruments in his hand and just make a beat with the sounds that he could do. Never played an instrument though, not that I remember. But he, he was just awesome young kid. He grew up in Gary, Indiana. Uh, as about almost everybody knows, a tragic end to his life, uh, which it's sad to say that so many performers, entertainers have that type of, uh, ending to their life. But that's just part of life. I mean, to them, I don't know why they go down that road, but it's just one of those things. But you know, growing up, seeing him, listening to him, all his older music with his brothers, joking around with "Oh Tito" and he and all that good stuff. I mean, he was just one of those young men that was the talent just overflowed. I mean, he was just awesome. The movie itself, I think his nephew portrayed him. I mean, and there was times that when I was watching this movie, bought it for my wife. My wife loves Michael Jackson. We always joke around about that, but in a good way that she just loves singing Michael Jackson. My mom loved Michael Jackson. We grew up listening to Michael Jackson. But anyway, my wife loves Michael Jackson, so I bought her the movie. Excuse me, and we watched it finally. Uh, and I just had to talk about it because this movie was just pretty damn good. And we had already seen it. We had already gone to the theaters when it first came out. But watching it again after buying it, I mean, it just kind of once again it just brought chills to me and brought me back memories. It took me back to my years where I was growing up and in the times where we could go outside and not worry about much of anything. We were able to go outside and just play and just joke around and sing and have little concerts and stuff like that. And uh, we would play all kinds of music. Of course, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, just you know, of course, we George Jones and country music. people like that. I mean, the old school that we would listen to, Hank Williams Jr. I mean, we would listen to all kinds of music, pop, rock, disco, at John Travolta playing disco fever. I mean, stuff like that. But this movie was kind of on point. They didn't show too much of his dad, Joe Jackson, being the kind of father that a lot of people didn't like. He was very abusive father toward the kids, especially toward Michael, calling him the big nose, being ugly to him. Uh, that man played just the perfect father, playing Joe Jackson. He just had the looks, the stares, the just I know that the character just played him out. I mean, just perfectly. I mean, it was just the mom played it perfectly. I always wondered why the mom didn't say much. I know she had polio back in her days, and they didn't show too much of her. They didn't make it too much about everybody else. They made it about Michael, which is I really enjoyed that. I really loved that. It was more toward Michael Jackson. It was about Michael Jackson. It was, yes, they put a little bit of what, Joe Jackson was, and Tito and Jermaine and all the cast of the Jackson Five. Uh and Latoya came out. Janet didn't come out in it at all. She didn't want to have any part of it. To each his own. Don't really know why, don't really care. But it was more toward Michael Jackson, what he did, his animals, Bubbles, the snake, uh, the llama, or the alpaca, whichever one it was. But I mean, they showed the giraffe. I mean, they showed his animals. They showed just a little bit of clip here and there about different things of if you knew Michael Jackson, how much he loved the animals, how much he loved uh, Ben, the rat. They didn't really show the rat, but uh, how he sang that song Ben, the two of us will may live no more. I mean, oh my God, the dude was just uh awesome. I mean, just going into the studio and making his his debut on his songs, on his you know, on his Thriller album, his Beat It album, and oh man, I mean, for this movie to make over 1 billion, that's right, people, $1 billion. That's a lot of money for a young star. And I call him a star because there's not many actors that have never acted before that can say that they've gone up on the movie theater and brought out the best of themselves and made that much money on on a movie. I mean, over $1 million to date. That's a lot of money, and the crazy part is that he uh he did an awesome job, man. Jafar Jackson, man, if he's not up for an award for this show, for this movie, he should be. That's my opinion. We all have them. It's like everything else. Everybody has an opinion about everything, and I mean, you should have one too. I mean, if you think so, and that's fine. If you don't like him, that's fine. I'm talking about Michael Jackson. That's your opinion. We all need to understand that Michael Jackson was a loved or hated person for the things that had happened, things that he went through, and it's just so many things that he did, so many things that he believed in. He did so many things for the burn patients after he went through his Pepsi incident where he burned his scalp and he burned himself, and he gave 7 figures. He donated it to the to the burn institute in the hospital where he stayed in. I mean, he saw all those kids, and he decided that, you know what? He told his manager, you know what? Go ahead and just donate it. He asked him, how much are we getting? He said, we're getting about seven figures. He goes, I want you to donate it, make that happen. And I mean, it's just amazing. I just think that a lot of that stuff is just, it was so well played out. I mean, everybody was thinking either this movie, Michael, is gonna it's either gonna go one or two ways. It's gonna go blah, or it's gonna go, "Oh, wow." And I think it went the wow, and man, oh my God, it was awesome. Uh, when people spend money to go watch this show and this movie, wow, that was just, I think it was just one of those movies that people wanted to see. They waited for a long time and they got what they expected. And that's just part one, you know. I am so glad my wife and I talked about this, and I am so glad that they didn't start off with, hey, somewhere, where they bury Michael, or they're in a funeral, or they're in a funeral home, or they're look. Nope, it started out just straight up where he's walking into the stage, and it's just, it started out just perfect. They didn't have any negativity toward anything as far as what was going on. It started off when they were kids, when he was walking in the stage, and then they went back to where they were at Gary, Indiana, and how Joe Jackson wanted them to become, man. I mean, he was right there that he wanted them to become. Uh, he didn't want them to work in the steel mills like himself, but I believe in my opinion, I believe Joe Jackson was just a money hungry son of a gun that just wanted to make himself money. And he knew, when he heard his sons play and his sons sing, and that he had something going. He knew he had something going with Michael, something special. Uh, he was hard on him, and I understand that. I know that when you have something special, you gotta practice, you gotta do some things. But you know, but one thing I didn't understand is I did not like was, and they didn't show it as much. They did show where he beat Michael, and then when, but I think he did it because he liked it. And that's my opinion. Once again, people, this is all my opinion. This is Grumpy Papa JoJo's opinion. You can take it for what it's worth, and I'm gonna stick to my opinion. You stick to yours opinion. You can think about whatever you want, but I really think he was just a son of a bitch and just money hungry piece of shit that wanted to make money off his kids, and that's all he wanted. Michael, as he grew older, finally got the gumption, and he decided to, you know what, I don't need you. And I never understood that. I never got that point to where I could say, wow, he finally grew up here and said, hey, I don't need you. No, I think he could have said that a long time ago, because without Michael, none of the family had anything. And I think his mom finally told Joe that, hey, you know what? Without him, you wouldn't have anything. But he didn't care. He just thought that he could ride his son and he could tell whatever he wanted him to, and he was going to do anything he wanted. But tell you what, his dad found him I guess a guard, or a protector, or somebody to take care of him. And I think it kind of backfired on Joe Jackson, because that man, that security guard, that, or the protector, became very good friends, and he loved Michael, and he took care of him like if it was his own brother, his own kin. And at the end, it was like, nope, it's over, Joe. It's done. He made a decision, and you just got to get away. He thought he was going to take him over, and he was going to make millions, and it was going to be his money. But no, it wasn't like that. Tell you what, man, that movie touched a lot of my memories when I was growing up. I mean, watching him. and the cartoons. I remember they had some nice, some funny cartoons, and they would, the typical, for 30-minute cartoon would lasted probably so many commercials and probably about a 16, 17-minute cartoon, minus the commercials. So, it was pretty darn good. I remember watching that, and I remember it would have like, the different years, 1970, 1981, and whatever years that was coming out. And I would tell my wife, I say, wow, man, this just brought me back. It brought me back, and it made me realize how time flies, people. Time goes by so quick. And Michael Jackson was one of my memories, one of my pastimes that we used to sit down and listen to all his albums back then. We had 45s, we had the LPs, the big albums. I wish we would still had them. I wish we still had Rocket Robin, tweet tweet. Oh, Rocket Robin, you're really gonna rock tonight. I mean, we had all that good stuff. We listened to that. I mean, I remember listening to all his albums. I mean, I remember listening to the small 45s that we used to put on my mom's old record player. And I mean, we just used to sit down and just listen to it. My mom, like I said, my mom loved Michael Jackson. We used to just kind of kick back, and my wife just laughs because, man, mom, I said, oh yeah, mom loved Michael Jackson, man. My mom really enjoyed listening to him. And Thriller came out, and I mean, I just think he made small little movies. I mean, out of the MTV, uh, when he first started making that, Bad. Uh, when he got those two rival gangs, I don't think people realize that these rival gangs were actual. I think they were the Crips and the Bloods or something like that. They were actual rival gangs in LA that he got together for this Beat It song, for this, you know, song that he made because he was so tired of black on black death. I mean, killings, and he was so tired of that. And he just decided that, you know what? I want to make this. And I'm not too savvy about all this information and stuff like that. I just like talking about this because I think that you can Google everything, you can do all that stuff. I'm not your Google computer savvy person. That's my wife's stuff. And then I just like talking about what I have in my past and what I understand growing up. And uh, that's what I like to do. That's what I like to talk about. And I like to talk about what I have in my mind and my experiences of what I went through. We went through a lot. I mean, small town that I grew up in. Yeah, we had our gangs. We had our fights, people fighting all the time. People, we had people dealing drugs, people dealing just crazy stuff. We had our fair share of crime. Um, we had our fair share of seeing ugly things happening, but we would always listen to our music. Our music just took us away, so to speak. It took us to a place where we could just be ourselves. I mean, we had racism, we had hate, we had all kinds of stuff that I saw and I experienced as a young kid where people didn't like you because you were a different color, a different race, of different, where you lived on one side of the tracks because you were Hispanic or you were black, and the the other color lived on the other side. I mean, just the way it was. I mean, and we didn't see, that's just the way we grew up. But the music, what does Michael Jackson say? Michael said, it's it was the way people got together when you made that with the two big gangs together. It was uh, the music brought them together, and music, everybody knew it. Everybody can get. and get along with music. So he made that, and I don't think like I said, I don't think people realize that these were actual bad criminal gangs, and he got together and he made this happen, and it was amazing. I mean, I know that we saw it on MTV, and we saw the fighting, and we saw the the choreographing of dancing and all that other stuff. But when you watch the movie and you listen to him talk, I think hopefully I hope that y'all have that mindset where "Ah, this was real stuff." He actually got together with these actual Crips and the Bloods, and they were actual criminals that could have hurt him or they could have killed him, but they decided to get together, you know? He said it was the language of love. I mean, like we always say, well, love is the international language of love, or whatever, however you want to say it. But he said music was that. Music was what brought people together. And it did. And it brought it together. And it was a love-hate relationship with these two people, and they love to hate each other and they love to kill each other, and uh, he brought them together for those time that they got together and started dancing, and he had some of these guys that were actual criminals that were in his uh uh in his video. So yeah, Michael did a lot of stuff for the community, and then he also, when he did Thriller, he wanted different. He wanted something different. He would watch Dancing in the Rain. I mean, he watched that show over and over. He said that Dancing in the Rain was something that he thought that feet needed to be shown while he was dancing, and a Thriller would have been so different if they would have just shown the upper body, because his feet were always moving, always dancing. And Michael Jackson himself was just so natural. And I tell you what, Jafar Jackson, I think, made his uncle proud, because it was like Michael got into his body sometimes and he just danced. The man just danced. I mean, he sometimes, it felt like I was watching Michael at times during the movie. The only difference is that Jafar's a little bit more muscular and thicker than what Michael Jackson was. Michael Jackson was very thin, very very skinny. But Jafar, oh my God, there was times where I would see him and I thought, wow, that looks like Michael Jackson. And I remember the first time I watched Thriller, I think I had came down to visit from Germany, and I think I remember seeing. No, no, no. I take it back. My bad. I didn't come down from Germany. I that was I remember watching it after that. I remember being in Louisiana. So I went to, I was working on the offshore rigs, and I had finished, I was in reserves, and I had went to, I was working with the oil field with my uncle, and I was staying in Sulphur, Louisiana. And I remember I had just gotten off for 7 days, and we had just gotten home, and he had already been playing a while. And then one of my cousins said, "Hey, did you hear? Have you seen Michael Jackson's new video?" I said, "No, I haven't seen it. Which one?" I said, Thriller. I said, "Wow, Thriller." He goes, "Yeah, it's a long one. It's I don't know, 10, 15 minutes long." I said, "What?" Anyway, so I came back. We just got home maybe a day. We normally got home on Wednesday night, and we got home from the offshore. I got home, I settled in, and I think it was just Thursday or Friday, a couple of days afterwards. My cousin told me about it. Got in front of the TV set, was gonna eat, and I told her, I said, "Hey, put it on MTV. Let's see if Michael." Man, they were playing Thriller practically all day long. And then when I saw it, I was like, "Wow, that's an actual that's an actual TV show." I mean, it was just pretty awesome. You know, Ola Ray and Michael Jackson, and I always laugh about it because I always tell my wife when I would go fishing, I'll see you next Wednesday. Of course it's on a Friday, but I'll go Friday morning, or I'll go Saturday, and I always used to joke around with her. I'll see you next Wednesday, and that always used to grab me because it was always on in the show, but in the music video. But tell you what, this show really brought. I'm tell you, it keeps me talking about it because Michael Jackson was somebody that I could sing no matter what. I mean, Michael Jackson was just one of those guys that I don't think he had a bad song in him. I mean, at least I don't think so. There were so many great songs that he had, and I think if he would have taken care of himself for whatever reason happened to him, uh, I think he would have still been singing right now. I think he was a couple of years older than I was, but I think Michael Jackson would have still been going strong. Uh, he was always having something. He was always planning something. There was always something that he was working on, and perfection was his. I guess I would say his middle name because he always wanted it to be perfect. When he showed his moonwalk, he even said, "I did not come up with this moonwalk. I just wanted to perfect it. I've seen it done by other, back in the 50s or whenever it was. I just wanted to make it better." He perfected whatever he wanted to do. And that's what his dancers would say, he was a perfectionist. And that's what made Michael Jackson stand alone in whatever he did. Hey, argue with me, you know, say no, I'm crazy, say I'm wrong, whatever you want to say, but that's what my opinion is. That's what made him the best at what he did. King of Pop, that's what he was. And I don't think anybody to this day will hold a candle to that man. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, that man has been mimicked, that man's songs have been played, and I don't think there's a person that can dance like Michael Jackson. Oh, they'll come close, but there's nobody that will be a perfectionist like Michael Jackson. Jafar, oh, he is the most and the closest. And sometimes you think it's Michael Jackson because, well, he does have his uncle's blood. I mean, Michael Jackson's brother's son. I mean, that is the closest DNA you're gonna have to Michael Jackson. I mean, that boy, whoo, he, man, I don't think anybody's gonna hold a candle to that young kid. And he had to try out for this show, and he did it. And when they talk about him, they talk about Jafar that he really bust his ass to make these parts and the singing, the dancing, that he really worked hard to make his uncle proud because he really wanted to make sure that his uncle was watching him and making sure that he was doing it the right way because he was not going to stop. I think he got the part of perfection from his uncle, but is he gonna be perfect like his uncle? No, but damn, that boy scared the hell out of me when I watched him. I thought he was watching Michael Jackson at times, and I knew I wasn't. But the thing is that he was so close. I just find it fascinating that Jafar is his kin, and they found somebody that was his nephew to play the part. You know how most of the time they find parts for kids or for another young kid to play Michael Jackson or to play somebody else, whoever they're portraying, like Elton John or Elvis Presley or whoever it is, whatever singer it is, entertainer, actor, whoever, uh, you know, professional that they're trying to tell the biography about. But to have an actual kin play uh, the actual entertainer is very very rare. I mean, I don't know of anybody else that's played um, somebody like that. Jafar being his nephew, I just think that this young kid is very very talented, and like I said earlier, if there is a way that this young kid can get an award or can be up for an award, man, let it be. Let it be. Just put him up for the award. Whether he wins it or not is beside the point. I think just being up for an award is an impressive milestone for this young man. And part two, I don't know, man. I mean, from what I understand, I think it's going to be in production already. Uh, I don't know how true that is. Don't quote me on that. Don't even, say, well, hey, the crazy Papa Dojo said that they're already started. No, I don't know. Is it rumored? Yeah, it's rumored that they're going to start it. I don't know when. If they are, I don't know. If I can find out, I'll let you know. But I'll have my wife research that, and I'll let you know on a later date. But as of right now, Michael is one of the best movies out there. It is the best movie out there. Over $1 billion in record sales for that movie. And it's probably still going strong. I mean, I don't know. It's been a while. I think it got out in June or in May or something like that. I don't even know when it came out. I don't even know. I don't know that I took my wife out when it first came out. We saw it, we loved it, and we just recently saw it again. I just bought her uh, the uh, uh, the movie, and I also bought her a. They were selling where you actually got the DVD, Blu-ray, and you also got the booklet with all of Michael Jackson's different pictures and different things and how they made the movie and all that good stuff. So yeah, we she loves Michael Jackson, and but don't get me wrong, I love Michael Jackson, but man, my wife is a fanatic. She is a Michael Jackson fanatic. She loves him. She loves singing. She loves karaoke, and Michael Jackson is her go-to music, and I don't blame her. Yeah, man, I do not blame my baby girl to go after stuff like that because I'll tell you what, my woman, she loves to sing. She loves her karaoke, and uh, hey, can't go wrong with a Michael Jackson song. There's so many of them. I mean, there's so many great songs that this young man has, and I think that I think he could have done more than what he did. I think he did a lot, being all over the world. Man, some of those concerts that I see him, we sometimes watch YouTube. Sometimes we just get on there and we just see Michael Jackson, and I just listen to his music, and I just, oh my God, you can just you can play games. And as we were playing games, we'll turn on a small TV or and YouTube, and we'll just listen to his music. And we're playing video games, PlayStation, listening to Michael Jackson. So yeah, that's what I do most of the time. Sometimes I'm playing games. My wife is working. She works from home. Sometimes she's in her work office, and I tell her, turn on your TV, put it on YouTube, put it on the Michael Jackson. Ever since Michael Jackson movie came out, there's a YouTube where they just play nothing but Michael Jackson videos, and I just watch all old Michael Jackson. It starts from wherever it starts, and it just keeps playing, and I just listen to that while I'm playing either my farm games, my Tower of Fantasy, my Genshin Impact, my 76, Fallout. Uh, doesn't matter what I'm playing. I mean, I can play whatever game I want to play. My hunter game, where I'm hunting animals. I mean, Call of Duty. I mean, I will play every game I have. I mean, I got so many that, what is that? Snow Runner. I mean, you name it, I have games to play. I mean, we play so many other games. I mean, we just play so many games. But the thing is that Michael Jackson is right there. I mean, I like to listen to it. Yeah, and I like my rock and roll. I love my old school rock and roll, AC/DC, Pink Floyd, all that good stuff. I grew up to all that good stuff. The Beatles, of course, CCR. I love the Eagles. I mean, I love all that old Metallica. I love all that good stuff. I love country music, George Strait. Uh, you know, uh, the old school country music. Uh, you know, uh, uh, Garth Brooks. I mean, it doesn't matter. But you can listen to Michael Jackson, and I can just kick back and I'm playing these games. Michael Jackson is go-to for me, not because of the music or the show. It's just because it's Michael Jackson. Elvis Presley is another one. Elton John is another one. I mean, I could just listen to these guys. I mean, they're just good. It's just good for it. And but getting back to what the subject, Michael is a great movie. It's sometimes my wife's not feeling good and I'm playing a game and she's watching Michael. And now, she's watching Michael now that I bought her the movie. And I just get so caught up into it. And we just watched it again and I was like, wow. And she said, "You need to talk about that movie." I said, "You know what, baby? I'm going to talk about this movie because I am so hyped up for this movie. It is such a good movie. And I probably missed a lot of parts in it and stuff like that. But you know what? Y'all need to watch it. And y'all probably have already watched it. And if I miss some parts, well, if you've already seen it, then you know. But sometimes I just want to, my thing is not about telling you the whole movie. It's just telling you that it's a great freaking movie. Michael is a great movie. And Jafar just awesome. I don't know all the actors. I don't know who played who. I don't know everybody. But I tell you what, Joe Jackson was played awesome character. Dude pissed me off, so I know he played a great part. The mom, she pissed me off. She played a great part. I always felt that the mom should have fought more for Michael. I always felt that when Michael turned her back after he got his head burned after the Pepsi incident, and he said, "No, I don't blame you, mom." I think Michael kind of blamed her a little bit. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but he was kind of hurt because he says nobody can stop him because that son of a bitch, Joe Jackson, still wanted him to go on stage. He didn't care that his son was burnt. The doctor's looking at him like, "What the hell, dude? Your son's just he's in stable condition, but he he's hurt. He just got burned. He's got to get through this. He has so much pain." And he didn't want to use drugs. And it's so crazy, right? That Michael not want to use any type of drug, yet his downfall was drugs. It's crazy, right? Something that he did not want to do, but something that ended his career and his life, so to speak, because of that. Maybe that has something to do with it. But I think a lot of his pain was what his dad put him through. And I don't think that we realized what Michael was really going through. And I think music was something that he himself just like we listen to music to get out of our depression or our sadness, whatever. I think that's what Mike used to get out of his reality of what was going on in his life. Whether we see that or not, or whether we think that that's true or not. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that it was, but I sometimes feel that Michael decided that music and being perfect at it was the only thing that could keep him out of what was going on in his life. with his mom, with his brothers, with his dad especially. How terrible his dad was, how much pain his dad caused him when he was a kid. I think that's why he was always trying to, and I'm, I'm just talking here. I'm thinking that he hung out with these young kids because he was never able to be a child. He was never able to have a childhood. So he brought all these animals and he became friends with these animals. And then he had these children hanging out with them and just trying to have a childhood. And yes, he might have done it the wrong way, might have looked different, might have looked for us as adults, it didn't look right, right? It didn't seem right for us. Why is he hanging out with kids? Right? But I think he had so much pain growing up that music just took him away from all that. And the perfection that he wanted in music was the perfection he wanted in his own life. But I don't think he ever got the perf- the perfection of life that he wanted because every time he turned around, his dad was still there, and every time he saw his dad, he saw nothing but pain. And his dad lived to be old. That son of a bitch lived old, and he was just a mean piece of crap. That he just wanted money, and everywhere he turned, Michael just decided that he just didn't want to be. He just didn't want to be with Joe Jackson. He didn't. He called him a big nose. He called him that. He told him he had big nose. I mean, who the hell is a? Why the hell did the father fucking down to his son? How ugly do you have to be, and how terrible of a father do you have to be to talk to a son like that? Michael had so many issues because of his father. Not that he had issues himself. His issues were there because of Joe Jackson. My belief, once again, this is my opinion. It don't matter what anybody else thinks or what anybody tells me. This is my opinion. You have your own opinion, then you can get your own mic and you can get your own little podcast and you can talk about it. Or you can comment. It doesn't matter. You can comment on what you think, and that's fine. But my thing is that I believe that Michael had issues with his dad, but he could never say anything because he was so scared. You know how women and men and children, animals, dogs, I'm talking about dogs, how they're so scared of their owner or they're so scared of their husband or their wife or the kids or the father, the son, the grandparents or their dad or their mom, whatever. They're so afraid of them that no matter how old you are, when they tell you something, you're your mechanism, whatever you say, it just clicks and you just say, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir." You can never tell them no. So Michael was never able to say no. I think that's why he says in one of the parts, "You can never stop Joe. Joe can never be stopped." In so many words, I don't know exactly how he said it. And I think he turns his back on his mom, Catherine. He turns his back on her and says, "I don't blame you." But I think in a way, Mike does blame her because she doesn't really do anything. But I think she's just as scared of him as Michael's afraid also, because I think that Joe has a control over her as he has over the kids. They don't show it on this, and I'm glad that they don't show so much. But so many Jackson uh, Five, American Dream, all those other movies that they made, they show how ugly Joe Jackson was to the kids, how aggressive and how abusive he was to them, how many affairs he had with his, on his wife, and how ugly it was, and to each his own, whatever. But Catherine never stood up to him, and maybe because of a mechanism that also clicked on her that she said, "You know what? I'm scared." I'm scared to say anything because it's just a terrible thing that I'm also clicked in, just like Michael is and the kids are, that we're scared of this man. And the only way they escaped this is when Joe Jackson died. That's the only way. Whether Latoya, whether Janet, whether Jermaine, whether Tino, any of them, all of them had the same mechanism that clicked and said, nobody can fight this man because he was towered over them so big that he had control over that whole family. And they felt that, he kept throwing at him. If it wasn't for me, I took you out of Gary, Indiana. I'm the one that did that. There was only one part that Catherine told him, if it wasn't for your son, you wouldn't have this. Right? If it wasn't for Michael, you wouldn't have this. But my thing is, why didn't she just kept saying that? I never understood that. And I guess looking from the outside, looking in is a lot different than being in the inside. Because I think in life we all get caught up into that. Sometimes we get caught up into that one thing that we can never just leave alone. Whether it's puppy love, whether it's a girl, whether it's a guy that we just follow and we just so in love with him or so in love with her that we just don't know what to do. We're head over heels. We chase that one dream, or we chase that one thing that we want to do so much, knowing damn well that we'll never get it. That we'll never get to that. But we keep doing it because we think that we're gonna be there and we're gonna get it. But deep down, I think we know that we won't. And I think Michael's life was about, my music is the only thing that's perfect because I can control my music. And Michael Jackson, I'm in control of my music and I will do it my way. Not in a bad place because he treated everybody with respect, but he wanted perfection. And everybody respected that. Because once you did a video, or once you were a band member, or once you were a dancer for him and you did the perfect thing and you worked hard and you busted your ass for him, the end result was the best thing and the best feeling of your life. It wasn't where you were getting hurt or you were getting beat. No, you were getting something at the end, and it was like winning the race and saying, yes, I trained for months to get to this point, and look at me. Man, I danced for Michael Jackson. I have this on my resume. What did you do? I was a dancer for Michael Jackson. I was a backup singer for for Michael Jackson. I was this for Michael Jackson. That was the most awesome thing that anybody could probably ever say or ever do or ever put down on a resume. But Michael Jackson in itself, I believe that he was the type of person that said, you know what? This is what I can do to get out of the hate and the destruction that I have at home that nobody sees. The hurt that my father does to us, me and to my brothers and to my sisters and to my mom, that nobody sees, but that I feel every single day that I see this man and that I cannot stand him. And that's why I call him Joe. He did not like this man. I mean, I believe that he didn't really care for this. He didn't care for this man. He just saw him as another man that was abusive and another man that was just there. Yes, you brought me to make music and you started my career, but I'm the one that did everything. And when he finally got out of, so-called, like out of the reach of Joe Jackson, it he got out of there, but it wasn't 100%. Once again, this is my opinion. I think Michael never was released from that so-called prison or destruction of his dad because it was so heartfelt that he hurt so much of his family that Michael took all the blame and he felt that it was his fault because he was the lead singer. He was the youngest, but yet he was also the one that could have probably said something, or maybe as he got older, he said, "I was the one making all the money. I could have just said, you know what, I'm not doing this no more. Without me, you have nothing." Maybe in his older years, he thought that he could have done it different. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what went through Michael's head, what through his mind. But I I think that Michael Jackson thought every time I see this man, hurt comes to me. So I take it to my music and I want to be perfect in this life. I want everything perfect in this life. And I also want to be a young kid. So I'm going to get animals. I'm going to have my, what was it, the Never Never Land or whatever it was, because he loved Peter Pan. He loved the Never Never Land fable, that story. He loved that. But I want to have my own zoo or whatever he wanted. He wanted his own animals. He wanted the snake. He wanted the rat. He wanted the llama. He wanted his giraffe. He wanted all those animals because it made him feel safe and it made him feel like he had people, he had something behind him that could protect him. And it was a perfection for him. We didn't have to understand that. I don't care what psychologist or what who you are or what you want. Don't try to understand why he did it. I'm thinking this is something that he wanted to do so that he just wanted to have safety on his side. And nobody's ever going to understand it. No matter how much we ask ourselves or ask around, I don't even think his family could figure out why he did what he did. But we can just speculate and we can ask ourselves questions and we can say to ourselves, where did this all start from? I don't know. In my own opinion, I think it started from his dad and I think it went to his music. What do we do when we're feeling bad? We want to listen to music or we listen to not uh we sometimes listen to sad music, right? Somebody passes away. Uh, I've had three siblings pass away. My older brother, my older sister, and my younger sister pass away, right? Uh, so you start thinking, what song makes you feel better? Well, this song makes me think about my brother. This song makes me think about my sister. And this song makes me think about my baby sister. And nine times out of 10, it's a sad song. You do have happy songs that make you think about your siblings or your mom or your dad. My mom and dad passed away too, right? So you start thinking about, you know, Alan Jackson, Remember When, it's a beautiful song, but I still think about my mom and dad, but it's also kind of a sad song because it's remember when, and then when they were young, and then when they grow old, 30's not so young, and then the time goes by, and then all of a sudden, my mom and dad, 63 years of marriage, and then they're both gone. But they left so many grandkids and so many children and so, and their lives together and so many things. And then there's another song, The Southern Man. I mean, he grew up a Southern man and it's a great song. It's a fast song. It's just so many songs that you can do. So we go to music to make ourselves feel better. And sometimes we don't want to feel better. We just want to feel that small pain or that pain so that we can think about our dads, our moms, our grandma, our grandpa, our brother, our sister, our cousin, or whoever, your best friend, your friends from the military, your bands of brothers. I mean, whatever, whoever. But the thing is that maybe Michael decided that my music is to make me feel alive, make me feel perfect, make me feel safe with my animals. And then the kids that I saw in the burning institute, in the hospital, those are the kids that I want to hang out with because I was never a child. I was never able to be a child. I don't think we realize how many of these actors, how many of these singers, entertainers, professionals, whatever, they were never children. They never have the time to be children. We see him as entertainers. We see him as actors. We see him as, oh, I remember him when he played in Disney. I remember him when, but we never realized that these kids were on set when they were 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. But what were we doing at 5, 4, 5, and 6 and 7? We're outside. We're out playing. Of course, I was back in my time, 60s and 70s and 80s, right? You know, the the what generation, whatever you were, Gen Z, Gen X, Gen whatever, y'all put alphabets on everybody now. But we grew up playing outside, you know, creating stuff, playing with with weapons that we made with rubber bands, slingshots, I mean BB guns, all that other stuff. Riding bikes with no helmets. I mean, drinking from the hose. I mean, drinking water from the hose, and making go karts and all that good stuff. So Michael didn't grow up like that. He grew up, going to school and coming back from a gig at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then his dad said, "Nope, let's go, put it together. We got to get this right." Then he got to go to school. And even school didn't help him because he went to school, and then after he got out of school, he came straight back and he read that book that whether that Peter Pan and Neverland, and kept reading that book because his fantasy world was about getting away from everything that his dad would do to him. Well, we don't know what else his dad did to him. We don't know anything. All we know that his dad was abusive to him with the belt, and that he talk ugly to him. And then he told him, "You don't talk back to me." And then boom, grab a belt and beat his ass and do all that stuff. And he did that to the other kids too, but mostly to Michael. And then he thought by doing that, he's the one that made Michael the great Michael. No, he didn't make Michael. Michael was already great because Michael had the talent. Michael was God-giving talent. He was the talent. He had it no matter what. Joe Jackson could have been the nicest father, and he could have just said, "You have talent, son. Now we're gonna work hard." But we don't. He didn't have to beat him. He didn't have to call him a big nose. He didn't have to call him ugly stuff. Nothing like that. So he got surgery because he thought he had a big nose, and he had to make up lies about it for his breathing. He said that wasn't it. So my thing is that he had this ugly ways of talking to his son, and Michael decided to say, "You know what? I got to find my way and my peace out of this." So as he got older and he waited, he had to wait. He had no choice. He had to wait. He had to wait on what I have to do, on what he has to do, and say, my music is my way out. So I'm going to wait. And that's what he did. So what he did was he waited and he waited and he said, boom, I'm done. This is where I get my freedom, and this is where I get my perfection, and this is where I get my happiness. So Michael Jackson decided that his happiness was going to be with his singing and with his hanging out with younger kids so that he could become a kid and watch them grow up, but he could play with the kids because he was never a kid either. And he had all these animals with him. And then his singing and his career paid for every single thing that he wanted. And he gave to a lot of institutes. He gave to a lot of varieties of cancer research. I mean, just different things that he gave. The man was phenomenal. And I don't know how else to put it in my opinion. Once again, people, Papa JoeJoe, crazy, the grumpy Papa JoeJoe is telling you what he thinks could have gone and could have been in Michael Jackson's mind. This Michael Jackson movie made me think so much about Michael Jackson. I've seen so many other movies about him because, it's just so bad that his dad treated him like that. His mom really wasn't 100% on his side. Oh, she was on his side, but I think she was just as scared. And she had polio. A lot of people don't know that. She had a limp. They don't show it as much. Look it up. But I think she did the best she could. And then the brothers, they can only do so much. So Michael had to decide as he got older, and he had to wait to get older. When he did, he said, I'm doing one more show and I'm leaving. And then he left. And there was nothing Joe Jackson could do. But in his mind, he was talking to Don Keene and saying, oh, yeah, man, we're going to go worldwide. We're going to go Central America. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. He didn't care about his sons. All he cared about how much money he was going to make. He was a devious man. And that's what he was. And at the end, he ended up with nothing. Oh, he was taken care of because Michael wasn't going to do that to him. Me personally, I'd have kicked him out. I wouldn't have cared. He didn't care about his sons. But that's me. Hey, to each his own, I guess. But that's my opinion. And that's something that I don't know. Y'all can take that for what it's worth. I don't, the grumpy Papa JoeJoe was very grumpy toward Michael Jackson's dad. Uh, I'm not saying I'm a perfect man because I'm not. Nobody is, and nobody ever will be. Woman or man, you will never be perfect. I think the only perfect species in this world are the dogs. They love you unconditionally. Unconditional love from the dogs. They love you no matter how ugly you treat them. They will love you. And it's sad that you do if you are treating them with disrespect and ugliness. Please don't. Animals are wonderful. Cats, dogs, hamsters. I don't care what you have. Dogs especially. I love cats. Don't get me wrong. I've never owned a cat. I've had friends that owned a cat. I don't know why, but cats come up to me. But I am a dog lover. I own dogs. I've always owned dogs. I worked with dogs in the military, and I have dogs. I have one dog left. My Zewski, my Zeus. He's a Chiweenie. He started out perfectly, running around, going everywhere. 5 years into his life, he became paralyzed, and we're still taking care of our Zeus. And he's a wonderful dog. He's still living. He's 13. He'll be 13 years old in September. And my wife and I take care of him. My wife is the one that really, really takes care of him. Uh, she does everything. She helps him do his bowel movements. She makes him go to the restroom. She does everything that there is to do for that young dog. We just sent him. We just had to take him to the vet. He was sick. We thought we were gonna lose him, but he got the medications, and now our dog is good to go. But anyway, that's another story. But I'm telling you, Michael is one of the best movies out there. Why? Because number one, I saw it. I think it is my opinion. Number two, it's made over $1 billion, people. A billion, not a million, $1 billion. Best movie out there. If you haven't seen it, well, you know me. I'm a spoiler alert. There's a lot of things I haven't explained everything, but you know the movie. You know the about Michael. There will be a part two. I don't know when it's going to start. There's rumors that it's going to be there. Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson. That Jafar is man. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's all I got to say about that. But as always, this is one of the best movies. I don't know what else to tell you. Please, if you have a chance, go out, watch this movie. You know what? Buy the movie. Buy the movie. We were gonna wait. We like to buy 2-for-1 movies sometimes. we I couldn't wait. My wife loves this movie, so she loves Michael Jackson so much. We bought the movie and we bought it and we watch it. She watches it almost at least once a week, maybe twice a week. It's a great movie. Uh, the music is awesome. Obviously, it's Michael Jackson. What do you expect? But that's my input on that. You know, of what I think. Music makes you happy. It makes you feel good. It can make you understand, and it can make you feel for your lost loved ones, and it can really hype you up, make you exercise, make you go out there. Uh, well, if I'm using make me exercise yet, but I have to, right? But I'm working on it. Listen, people, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful month. I know it's one of those things that uh, I love to talk about, and I'm gonna talk a lot about uh, movies. I love movies. I love watching. I love binging on shows and movies. And man, I had to talk about this one. Anyway, as always, I appreciate y'all coming on the Cup of JoJo. And for now, this is the Grumpy Papa JoJo for, as I said, the Grumpy Papa JoJo for Cup of JoJo. Anytime, anywhere. Join me on my next broadcast. And I'll talk to you later. As always, find a way, people. I know we will. And you will too. Till next time. Love ya.